And welcome back to NewsNation Prime. I'm Natasha Zubes. We are tracking this breaking news out of Uvalde, Texas. Investigators today releasing a scathing 77-page report on the mass shooting at Robb Elementary that killed 21 people. And correspondent Nick Smith is sifting through these pages. Nick, the report calls the police response lackadaisical, but it also goes into some red flags in the shooter's past.
Natasha, that's right. This report obtained by NewsNation was the first to criticize both state and federal law enforcement, and not just local authorities, as a gunman fired multiple deadly rounds inside a fourth grade classroom. And tonight, new information about the shooter's troubled life at home. For the first time, NewsNation has learned what investigators say took place on the morning of May 24th in the nearly 80 minutes between the moment 18-year-old Salvador Ramos fired shots inside classrooms at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, and when police busted in and killed the gunman. On Sunday, a committee of Texas state lawmakers investigating the police response released a 77-page report detailing what they describe as systemic failures and egregiously poor decision-making from those at the scene.
The officers who knew or should have known that this was an active shooter situation by their training experience should have done more. And certainly, with the chaos, people should have asked, why is there not an incident commander? Why there's not an overall commander outside the building helping try to organize that?
The investigation criticized what they call the inaction of state and federal law enforcement who make up the majority of responding officers. The report states that there were 91 state police officers, 149 from U.S. Border Patrol, 25 Uvalde City police officers, 16 sheriff's deputies, and 5 officers from the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Police. The committee said law enforcement failed to quickly confront the suspect, having retreated to safety after taking gunfire and waiting for backup. The report went on to say officers, quote, failed to prioritize saving the lives of innocent victims over their own safety.
If you're not willing to put the lives of the people you serve, of those children, before your own, in my view, you should find another job.
The report also offered new details on the shooter's life at home, which it describes as, quote, unstable and a mother struggling with a substance abuse disorder. They say his family moved often and lived in relative poverty. More troubling, the report says, quote, the attacker developed sociopathic and violent tendencies, but he received no mental health assistance. The report also says the shooter developed a, quote, fascination with school shootings and video games, and that his comments about them to his online chat group, coupled with his wild threats of violence and rape, earned him the nickname Ubo's school shooter on that platform. None of the shooter's online behavior was ever reported to law enforcement. Natasha, the committee says they chose to issue this interim report now, believing the victims, their families, and the Uvalde community have waited too long for answers and transparency.
Nick Smith, thank you so much for tracking this all night. It is emotional and much of it hard to read. Well, former CIA officer and FBI special agent Tracy Walder is joining us one last time. She is a criminal justice professor. Thank you so much for staying with us.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
And I think what's so frustrating for many of us, reports suggest that some social media users may have actually reported the attacker's threatening behavior to the relevant social media platforms. They did the right thing. They saw something and they said something. But then these platforms appear to have not actually done anything in response. As a former agent, what would the appropriate action have looked like and what failed there?
So I think that that's a great point. We see this a lot on 8chan, 4chan, Ubo, Twitter, really everything you can imagine. And the appropriate response would be is that social media site would notify law enforcement, be that local law enforcement, state law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and then that law enforcement agency would go and follow up. I actually did several of those several times when I was a special agent at the FBI. So that would be the proper protocol in that situation.
Why didn't it happen in this case?
I do think sometimes social media has gotten quite large. I think threats have become quite large, and it becomes very, very difficult to sift through and assess whether or not these threats are real or not. But really, that's not the job of these social media sites to decide whether or not these threats are real. That's the job of law enforcement to do. And so I think this probably slipped through the cracks of the voluminous amount of tips that they get on a daily basis.
Well, the report also says that the services used by Uvalde authorities to monitor social media for threats did not provide any alert of threatening behavior by the attacker. What is at the root of that particular failure?
Yeah, I always have said this in terms of the next terrorist attack, next school shooting, social media. We are really the victim of our own lack of imagination. And I think sometimes, local law enforcement only have the resources to look at certain social media sites or may not even know that those other social media sites exist. And that's why we perhaps need a little bit more funding to have these dedicated units that's really all that they do. Because what we're seeing with really almost 100% of these mass shooting events is that there has been chatter online leading up to them.
And we know the teachers in that case were supposed to see some sort of push alert or a notification on their phones, but they were not notified consistently because of low quality internet service and phone coverage. What do you make of the, quote, varying habits of mobile phone usage at the school? It apparently complicated the process of notifying teachers about the lockdown.
Sure. So I have Raptor actually on my phone that I use at my school, and that was the same program that they were using at Uvalde. Look, there are certain places in school when you get little to no reception. When I taught in high school, my classroom actually was lined with cinder blocks that made it almost completely impossible for me to get a signal. And so I would not have received a notification if I had that app on my phone. Some teachers don't install the app on their phone like they're supposed to. So I think that's where sort of that spotty coverage comes into play.
Tracy Walder, we appreciate your time. It just seems like a storm of failures on so many fronts, and certainly hard to sift through. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha.
We do want to bring you a quick programming note. Texas State Representative Dustin Burrows will be on tomorrow's edition of NewsNation Tonight. He is the chair of the investigative committee on the Robb Elementary shooting. NewsNation Tonight airs at 11 Eastern, 10 Central.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.